Hello everyone, Leonardo Cornejo here with another video. And today we want to talk about something I have been thinking about for a while. Because someone asked me what. Well, someone asked online, not to me, but to many people, what was the worst anime you have ever watched? And I say, as I can, I fucking hate that anime because everyone is cheating on each other. It has love triangles and everyone dies at the end. It has the worst tropes of science fiction and romance. And I began to think, because I realized it has the worst tropes of science fiction and romance. I began to reflect on that and I reached the conclusion sometimes your trope sucks. Sometimes you literally have a bad trope. Sometimes you are using a trope which fucks up everything you are writing. And an example would be the trope everyone dies at the end. I know some people like it. I know some people like to use it. It sucks. No matter your story, no matter even if it is a tragedy. If everyone died, and I'm not talking about, well, yes, even if everyone relevant to the plot dies, even if it is a tragedy, it sucks. And someone will say, oh, but Romeo and Juliet, oh, but all these Greek tragedies, they suck! I really hate Romeo and Juliet, actually. It has created a very toxic opinion on how do I say it? It has created a very toxic opinion on relationships, on love relationships. Because people actually misread it. The warning is don't fall in love with an immature idiot. That's it. Mm. mm, it sucks. I don't consider it one of. I don't consider tragedies good. Why? Well, tragedies are supposed to serve as a warning. Tragedies in the original Greek tragedies were meant to be a traumatic experience for the reader. Remember that they were acted on theater, they were not read. They were theater plays back then. Tragedies are meant to be a traumatic experience for the audience, which will make them fear a certain context, a certain situation. I don't know, make them fear fucking their own mothers, Oedipus Rex. I'm kidding. I know it is more complex like that, but Oedipus is a fucking motherfucker. I know it is more complex than that. I know the context is don't try to run away from fate. That's it. That's the lesson. That's the idea. They are not made to entertain. It is important to point at that. Tragedies are not made to entertain. They are made to traumatize the audience and make them fear whatever they are warning against. Don't try to flee from your destiny. Don't kill your brother. Don't do this shit. They are meant to teach a lesson. They are not good entertainment because they are not supposed to be entertaining. They suck as entertainment. They are not entertainment. They are not for fun. People don't follow tragedies, don't read tragedies, don't listen to tragedies, don't watch tragedies for fun, originally speaking. They are meant to teach a lesson. They are meant to send a message. That's why I, as a writer of entertainment, I don't like tragedies. I don't consume tragedies. And that's why and let me specify, the everyone dies at the end, tragic ending, not a tragedy in which, for example, the character has to face the consequences of his actions, for example. No, I think that's a good tragic ending. Not all tragedies suck, but those which suck, not those which do suck, have that. Everyone dies at the end. It sucks. It is not someone important died during the final battle, that's reasonable. I don't like it, but that's reasonable. Or many people died because, well, it was a war or something. No. Everyone dies at the end, or at least everyone relevant to the plot. Why? Because you invest your time and your attention on something useless, on something futile. That's also why I stopped watching The Walking Dead and why I won't bother with the comics, because if there is no result at the end other than the demise of the characters, if nothing is achieved, if nothing is changed, it fucking sucks. Actually, let's elaborate. You can kill everyone at the end if it brings a result. If by sacrificing all these heroes, if they give up their life, and in the end you see this landscape of they fixed everything, it works, because that means they heroically sacrificed their lives. They are heroes. They did bring a result. But if it's in the but how is the phrase? This bad ending in Chrono Trigger, the world refused to change, something like that. Literally everyone dies. It's the bad ending. It's meant to be the bad ending when you are defeated by Lavos. Everyone dies, and the world ends. That, as an ending, is a bad ending. It's an undesirable ending in that game. And if it was the canon ending, it will suck. It's a bad trope. Everyone fails. Let's say it this way. Everyone fails in a way beyond repair. That's a bad trope, because you invest all your time, all your effort, all your attention in these characters, only to see them fail. That's why Ash Ketchum sucks, because you invest all your time and all your effort on seeing this character grow, only to get defeated over and over again. He's a fucking loser. I agree with that. I agree on that with Timble. He said it, and I agree. Another trope I think sucks absolutely, and I'm saying sometimes your trope sucks. Sometimes your work is good. No, the problem is the trope. I made that reflection for several reasons. Not only that, I was reading this manga, which I was really enjoying it. I was like, oh, this shit's so exciting, and I reached the end, and everyone died, literally. The end is sad. Everyone dies. The planet gets destroyed at the end, and the final battle, the planet gets destroyed. All living things die, and I'm like, this fucking shit sucks. I make reviews of manga and anime in a Spanish channel I got. I was going to make a review of that manga. I mean, I was thinking of making a review while I was reading it, and then I was like, this shit sucks. Instead, I will make a video dedicated to all those crappy things on my other channel, including that manga, including Saikano, explaining why sometimes I don't make reviews of things because they plain suck. I was like, this shit sucks. Because you care about these characters, you start like, yeah, the main character must win, he must succeed, and in the end he kills everyone. That fucking sucks. That shit sucks. I mean, pisses me off. It really pisses me off when someone writes that kind of ending. Another one is a dream ending. Everything was a dream. You mean nothing I saw matters? I hate that, and it is a very popular ending, to be honest. I actually planned to mock it in one of my projects. The everything is a dream ending sucks, and there is another one. Everything was a fictional story within a fictional world. I mean, for example, don't know, you see the end and you see an old man telling this story to a bunch of kids. That one can work, because that means the story. I mean, you see, the story was fictional. But it's like two stories within one, because you are the narrator is a fictional character too. It's a character who is telling this fictional story. Basically, the narrator is a self-insert of the author, and that doesn't suck, because that's kind of cool. But when everything is a dream, unless you manage to combine both, because you can fix that. You can fix that by making the dreamer not being a character in the book. but the narrator. But if you make it if you make the dreamer a character, and the character being himself in the dream, not someone else, not as well. Turns out I had this great dream, because actually authors sometimes start that way. I had this great dream and I decided to make it into a story. That can work. But if it is, I don't know, guy gets hit by a bus and awakens in another world, because this is how it often works. Awakens in another world, and at the end turns out everything was a fucking dream, and he wakes up in the hospital after I don't know, 3-week coma or some stupid shit like that. Fuck that shit, because then you basically killed off everyone in a different way, because the dream meant nothing, because you waste the reader's time. It sucks. I really hate that trope. Literally, I hate it because it disappears every single character. It erases them. Because then the protagonist wakes up and everyone is gone. I will say, oh, but he learned important lessons in the ring. Well, fuck that! Fuck that! You don't make characters you care for. You don't make characters the protagonist cares for, only to kill them off in that way. Fuck that. That trope sucks. I seriously hate it. And I don't know why people write it. I don't know why people like it. I prefer to mock it. I prefer to make it oh, it was all just a dream. You motherfucking idiot, it wasn't a dream. I mean, the guy wakes up again in his normal daily life. Oh, it was all a dream. Walks down to the kitchen and there is that goblin he befriended. Yo, what's up? It was real? Of course it was real! You passed out drunk! That would be a better ending. That it was real, but the guy is still woke up in his bedroom. That it wasn't a dream. That it looks like a dream, but it wasn't. That would be cool. That would be cool. Instead you get the, oh, I will never forget those memories. They never happened, you fucking idiot! Those people never existed, you fucking idiot! I hate it. I really hate it was all a dream ending. It sucks. It really sucks. It bothers me. I like mocking it because it bothers me. It sucks. And I'm basically talking about tropes I hate. Let's be honest. I want to explain the technical reasons. I mean, I do explain why those tropes suck. But I won't bring examples. I won't do an in-depth research. Fuck that shit. I didn't like it in college. It's one of the reasons I didn't want to become I didn't want to become another college student as doing a thesis on some book or some shit like that. I studied English literature, but I decided no, I'm going to become a writer. I want to analyze someone else's work. I will make my own. I will use all that knowledge I learned to make my own. So I am not going to make an in-depth analysis. This is not a trope versus writers in video games. I wanted to mock that fucking bitch Anita Sarkeesian. I hate her. I am not that kind of person who makes analysis of cherry-picked things. I am going to talk about tropes I hate. That's this video. That's the concept of this video. Tropes I hate. And why I think they are bad. And why I think if you use them, your work maybe not might not suck, but your tropes suck and they will ruin your book. It's a warning too. If you use any of these tropes in this video, your work might get ruined by them. Next one is love triangles. And I put it this way. Love triangles are the toxic degeneration of harem. Be it male or female, the character in the love triangle. Love triangles are NTR from the perspective of the one who doesn't get cocked. Let me put it this way. Be it male or female, the participant in the love triangle eventually needs to choose someone. And often it comes with cheating, so it is literally it's NTR from the perspective of the person who isn't getting cocked. Eventually, the character who is in a love triangle, it is not harem, that's a difference, because the character must choose someone. And sometimes they are not even triangles. Sometimes they do look like harem because they are fucking polygons. Because you got this pendejo followed by a hundred girls who are all stupid bitches, I guess, because they managed to get to fall in love with a fucking idiot, and they are pursuing this fucking imbecile who has really no redeeming qualities, who is shallow as fuck because the writer decided to make him extremely relatable to his audience by giving him no personality so the reader can self-insert. And yes, this is something important in romance stories. Most of the time, the reason characters are annoying is the protagonist is annoying is not because he's supposed to be a loser, he's not supposed to be a bad person or anything. He can't have personality because the author is expecting you to insert yourself, to basically put your own personality in him or her. In the case of because this applies to both. This applies to the readers of those works. But that's why people who don't like self-inserts, people who don't insert themselves on a character, but rather they prefer to read about other characters, to read about other people. That's why we find it frustrating. That's why we don't like harem protagonists in part, and in other part is because sometimes they are fucking annoying fucking idiots. They really have annoying personalities. They are beta losers or whatever, and we don't like them because their personalities are the kind of thing we don't like in general, and that's why you don't like them. Or sometimes because they don't have a personality at all, as I said, because the writer decided to make them not have a personality. In fact, this is a problem with stories adapted from visual novels, because the being protagonist, often male, by the way, at least in the ones I have played, because I don't play otome games. The protagonist doesn't have a personality because you are the one, because you are, it's a first person perspective story and you are leading the character's personality. And when they decide to adapt the story and put a personality in the male protagonist, it might not be the personality the players wanted. Or sometimes they remove the male character entirely. I mean, for example, Popotan and Galaxy Angel, they removed the player character. They removed an entire character because he was no longer necessary to the plot, because you are no longer projecting on him. They killed off a character because you can't project on him. Do you understand why the whole love triangle thing sucks? Harem is bad enough because I said let's start going back to the love triangle part. Harem is bad enough already because you have this protagonist whose personality sucks. But at least you don't have settled relationships. You have this character with plenty of options, who all happen to like him despite being entirely incompatible with him because of his lack of personality. Apply a hair if you are thinking of girls, because it applies to all of them like this guy. Actually, I know an anime adapted from an otome game, and it's also the same problem. Main Eliev. They didn't include the girl because she was no longer relevant to the plot, and instead they make it a Fuyoshi bait. No joke. They make it have more homoerotic undertones. My sister and I joked a lot about that. Because they removed the girl who was the protagonist, and now it was focused on the male characters who were the basically the harem for the female for the female protagonist. See why harem sucks. Harem sucks because the protagonist really can't have a personality, because you need the reader to project, the audience to project on the protagonist. The thing is, as I said, the character has plenty of options who surprisingly like the guy or the girl, whatever, surprisingly like the protagonist, and you are like, why? I mean, he has the personality of a cucumber, and not precisely a pretty cucumber. Well, yeah, but the idea is that you project on him and you give him a personality. Well, sorry, I can't project that way. I can't project that way. Um, the thing is, the character has very limited personality, little to no personality. It's an empty shell for the purpose of entertaining the audience with that empty shell. The motherfucker is basically not a person, but he has all these options, all these girls or boys or whatever. I have never seen. I know they exist, but because because they fall off my radar. I have never watched gay harem. I mean, this guy with all these other guys. I would like to watch a rom com with that kind of stuff because it must be funny. It must be funny. I have seen, but I haven't watched a female ones. This girl with all these other girls. I haven't watched it, but maybe I should. Maybe I should, but comedy specifically, romantic comedy, not erotic stuff, not drama, because that fucking sucks. Melodrama sucks. I am going to go to that later. Later, we will talk about that. Going back to love triangles and all that. Harems don't suck that much. I mean, they get boring. I often end up tired of them, and that's why I don't like them. They feel like, I don't know, wasteful. Mm, but they don't suck because in fact the character can get all the love interests. There is not there is not that you must choose one. Oh, I can't because my feelings. No, it's like I am the king here. I might have no personality or redeeming qualities, but I am banging all these girls. That's better than a love triangle. I swear, it isn't great. It isn't good, but at least it doesn't suck. And sincerely, I do think it is a bad trope, but not as bad as love triangles, not as bad as all the tropes here. It just gets, it just manages to get a dishonorable mention. Well, that's the problem with love triangles because they come with drama and they come with the characters all being in a relationship. They come with cheating. As I said, they are netorare from the perspective of the one who doesn't get cucked. I mean, if you read Twilight from the perspective of Jacob, it will be a fucking Netorare story, a fucking horrible story. Especially because in the end he gets this baby and she imprints on him and he's like, "Oh, we imprinted. I'm going to make her my wife." I think it would be more interesting to see that the werewolf Ojisan and Lolly and vampire Lolly. Fucking shit! I'm very interested. No, I mean it would be more interesting because at least there won't be cheating and it will suck because well it's Twilight, but it won't suck half as much as Twilight. Fucking shit. Twilight sucks. Even if you like it, you must admit it isn't that good. The thing is that love triangles make it crappy. I mean, it's from the perspective of Jacob. It's a tragedy until the part where exactly where he gets this baby. What rain is me, Rana, no sé qué, whatever. He's like, I'm going to make her my wife, dude. She was just born yesterday. A fucking shit, seriously, it gets dumber. I won't say creepy, I won't say pedophilia or anything like that because first of all it's fiction and second he's supposed to wait until she gets older. But it's so stupid. It's a stupid. Let's not call it creepy or whatever. It's a stupid. From the perspective of Jacob, it's a story of suffering and stupidity from beginning of end. Well, from the perspective of the other characters too, but he's the victim here. Let's face it. He's the victim, and that's like the ultimate revenge. I mean, I will raise your child as my wife. It's even worse than raising your children as my own, which is a trope too, but it isn't very relevant. But you know, right? The guy who kills the opponent, and a good guy, bad guy. We don't care about the one who got killed. But the guy who kills him takes the child, and I will raise this child as my own. It works great with villains. I swear, when the villain is the one who is raising the dead hero's child as his own, that's great. When it is the contrary, it's really funny, but it's good, but not as good. I think it is better when it is the villain who is raising the opponent's child as his own, because then that's the part where this like antagonist, minor antagonist, or even the protagonist who is rebelling against his father finds out the opposite of the situation with Luke to make it that. I mean, you are the bad guy and I was the son of the good guy. Fucking shit! It's funny. It's funny. I think it's a good trope. I think that's one is good, and it is supposedly often it is exactly used as to showcase this hostility to the father of the character who is getting raised. I will raise your children as my own. It's hostility, especially if it becomes a stepfather and takes the wife and the children are old enough to remember. I think it is. I think Jacob did it out of spite to Edward. I will raise your daughter as my wife. It's fucking horrible. It fucking sucks. Seriously, it sucks. I mean, and that's a very good example of why love triangles suck. You have this character, usually a girl, because for some reason women prefer love triangles and men prefer harem. You have this girl who is constantly cheating on two guys, and she won't choose one until near the end of the story. And then she decides, and she's like, "Oh yeah, don't worry, I actually banked both of you, and one of you will get completely cocked because you won't be with me. But we're all cool, right? Fuck you! I would like a story like that. These guys who get cheated on by this girl and the love triangle and all that stuff, and instead of fighting each other for the girl or something like that, they unite against her. Like, she's a total bitch, man. She cheated on me. Yeah, she's a total bitch. She cheated on me. Let's fuck her life. That would be cool. They befriend and fuck her life. Maybe I should write that, but it doesn't go well with fantasy or science fiction. But I should really find a way to fix that. I should really find a way to write that and fit it within the boundaries of science fiction or fantasy. But seriously, I mean, this girl is like, "Oh, but we are cool, right? We can still be friends with the guy who got cocked, and the other guy is happy, even though I also cocked him with a current cock. Fuck you, bitch!" And it's pretty much the same when the love triangle is a guy with a girl, and in the case that they don't cheat on each other, there is always this character who gets cocked, and often when it is a guy and a girl, is the girl he's in love with and the girl who is in love with him, but he doesn't really care for her. It is a bad trope. There are good stories with this bad trope. Let's face it, there are good stories with this terrible, stupid trope. I am actually enjoying several stories like that, and I hate that trope. Why? Because I find it somewhat abusive to the character who is basically the unrequited love. I find it abusive to that character because that character actually will get abused emotionally constantly for the sake of love, often, or for the sake of creating drama. You will have this character who is suffering because the guy or the girl, but usually it's with guys. With guys, there is more loyalty for some reason. Won't pay attention to this character, and it's like the girl trying to get his attention, and it is often used that the love triangle in these cases, in the cases where it is not central to the plot and where it is not precisely toxic, it is often used as a comic relief. Is this character who is the love rival of the protagonist's love interest, but the love rival has no chances, and I find that cruel. I find that uncool. So I hate love triangles. They make me lower the score of a story. That's something I hated, for example, in Naruto, where that's exactly what happens. You have Naruto interested in Sakura and Sasuke not interested in Sakura, and this stupid geometric figure, and you have Hinata interested in Naruto and Naruto paying attention to Sakura only, and fuck that shit. Sakura deserves to be fucking alone for being that stupid. It sucked. It ruined. It damaged Naruto. I actually think the love triangle thing was more damaging to Naruto than anything else. Even more damaging than Boruto. I will. It might be controversial, but the love triangle thing was more damaging to Naruto than Boruto itself. It sucked. Love triangles really damage a story. They make unnecessary conflict, they make unnecessary drama, they make unnecessary confrontations. I don't like them. And the other trope I am going to mention is connected to love triangles, and it is part of the melodrama genre: cheating. Do you really want to? Do you really think I will like a character who cheats on his love interest, on her love interest? Do you really think I will like that kind of character enough to not want them dead? Do you really think I will like the kind of character whose personality I detest the most in real life? I hate it when protagonists cheat on each other and they forgive each other. No, that guy cheated on me. Let's fuck his life over. No love anymore. No love. So let's explain it this way. Not a school day situation. A school day sucks because of that. Because the girl actually still loves Makoto. No. Fuck that guy. Fuck that bitch. Both must die. And it is no longer a matter of love. Fuck them. That's how you manage cheating. But now you get these stories where they cheat on each other and they forgive each other. And if you wonder, 3 of these tropes were in Saikano, which is the triggering factor of this video. Everyone dies at the end, characters cheating on each other, and a love triangle. They fucking suck! These tropes suck! They're... I swear, cheating is a horrible trope. I don't know why they use it. Because cheating is... I mean, if you cheat on your partner, be it male or female, you're a fucking horrible person. You are a disgusting human being who doesn't deserve to be loved. And I actually think cheaters, unless there are some specific situations, I don't know, the other partner is abusive or some shit like that, or an open relationship, basically the other person allowing it to get cocked. Cheaters deserve to die. I don't like open relationships, by the way. I am entirely monogamous. I have some favorable views on men having multiple women from the biological standpoint, but I don't like it. I don't want to be part of it, because after having one girlfriend, I realized time makes it impossible for the average guy. Resources make it impossible for the average guy. It is impractical and it is a terrible idea. In theory, it looks dreamy and perfect. Oh, I got all these girls. In real life, I don't have time. I don't have time to myself because I go on dates daily. It sucks. It sucks. So I don't support polyamory. I'm strictly monogamous because of that, because I swear it sucks. Having a relationship is time consuming. It requires time and mental energy. It is exhausting. I swear, going on a date, no matter how much you love the other person, will make you want to sleep after returning home. And it isn't, and I am not saying it is a bad thing or that I didn't enjoy it. I'm saying Having one is more than enough. It's all you need. Because of the time and energy required to have more. The only people who want a harem are people who weren't in a real relationship. And as I said, I detest cheaters, so why would I want these characters being so morally bankrupt? That trope sucks. That trope sucks because we are talking about characters who are malicious. If you want to write a cheater, or a betrayer in general, make it an antagonist. Or give the character a reason to do that betrayal and make sure it doesn't end well precisely. If you betray a character, I mean, if your character betrays someone, and is not the and that betrayer is not the antagonist, at least make sure it is clear that the other character won't forgive it. That this will be damaging to their lives, to both of them. It will hurt them. It is a bad thing. It is a tragic part. No, oh, I cheated on you. I say it synergizes. It often goes together with love triangles. Oh, I cheated on you. Can we go back? Oh, sure. I don't mind that you fucked that guy 3 times. Fuck you! I'm exaggerating my reactions. To be honest, I am exaggerating them, but that's part of the fun. I think that's part of the fun. Exaggerating this. Because that's my sense of humor. No, I mean, seriously, that trope sucks. And last but not least, I could make a longer list of tropes that suck, but I will talk about one which is not related to the other four. I want to make the fifth a bit more interesting. The intelligent douchebag. Rick Sanchez. Let's use him as an example because it is easier to do it. The intelligent douchebag is not intelligent. He's a fucking idiot. I don't like it when people are analyzing Rick and Morty and they say Rick is intelligent. I don't like it when they say he's really that smart. The intelligent douchebag is a fucking idiot because he's making enemies out of people who don't hate him. He's making enemies out of people who are no longer are not just yet hostile to him. He's guaranteeing someone will try to kill him. And that's not intelligent. No matter how much book smart you are, if you make enemies out of strangers, if you endanger your life by fucking other people over, by trampling over other people, and not having an insurance to make sure they won't go after him, and that's another thing that happens to Rick quite often, and that's why he's a good example and one of the few times I will bother with examples. You're a fucking idiot. Even worse, in most of these cases, it is a nihilistic idiot. Let's not forget, when you are smart, you realize nothing matters. That's stupid. When you are smart, you realize everything fucking matters. Every single thing you do has consequences. Every single thing you do has results, and they will affect your life. This is not a nothing matters. It's an everything matters. When you are smart enough to realize the consequences of your actions, that's when you are a genius. Well, no, you are average in intellect. People who don't realize their actions have consequences are fucking idiot. But nowadays there are so many fucking idiots who don't understand that you will look like a genius. And a really smart character would be a bit more like the Doctor. He might be disrespectful sometimes, arrogant, even hostile to people he sees openly as less intelligent than him. But he makes sure to not trample upon other people, because if he does, there are consequences. As say, ripples, tidal waves. You don't travel to the past to kill Hitler, because if you kill Hitler, someone more capable will come into power and make things worse. You take into account every single ramification, instead of being a nihilistic imbecile who gets drunk and thinks he's a genius because somehow he manages to create more advanced technology. Rick Sanchez is an idiot savant. He's not a genius. He's not an intellectual genius. He's an idiot savant whose only intelligent trait, and that's the thing with the diagnosis of idiot savants, whose only intelligent trait is technology and science. But when it comes to real life, he's a fucking idiot. When it comes to living the field of science, he's a fucking idiot. He's an idiot savant. That's the thing with the concept of the idiot savant. Is someone who is extremely retarded, mentally retarded, on any other field than the specific field he's good at. For example, this character Rainman. He's an idiot savant who is extremely capable with math and stupid with everything else. There are people who are real mathematical geniuses who can't tie their fucking shoelaces, who can't even talk in coherent sentences outside of math because they are idiot savants. Chris Sanchez is an overpowered idiot savant, not a genius, and that's what pisses me off of the intelligent asshole. This trope is basically this complete imbecile, this complete failure of a person who happens to be a technological genius. Another character with similar traits is Gregory House, but he's a lot less stupid and a lot more reasonable. First of all, he has several traumatic experiences which make him this kind of bad person. He's not a bad person for free. He's not a bad person out of nihilistic personality or anything like that. He's not because you are smart and when you are smart you realize nothing matters. He's like, people fucked me over. I am literally crippled and I'm socially resentful. But again, he's not that smart. If he was smarter, he will manage to avoid all these stupid conflicts. I do agree with him on what he did to Lisa Cuddy. I seriously think they try to paint it as he was the bad guy, but I actually talked to my family about that. No, he did the right thing. He did the right thing. She cheated on him, and when she found her happy with the guy she cheated on with, he drives the car on her house. She deserved it. She had it coming. Lisa Cuddy is a fucking disgusting bitch. And anyone who takes her side is a fucking idiot. Because House was a good person. He was a good partner with her despite everything. Despite all his flaws, despite him being a fucking asshole. Despite not having the capability to trust or love anymore because of painful experiences. He really did his best to be a good partner, and she cheated on him. Fuck that bitch. Seriously. He was right on running that car into her house. But still, if he was smarter, he would have realized all those times he bullied her about being a bitch, about being a hack. He was right. He was smart enough to notice she was a bad person, but not smart enough to notice, well, then stick your dick in crazy, fucking idiot. they basically the intelligent asshole, the intelligent bully, the intelligent evil man is not that intelligent. Someone intelligent tries to make sure everyone around him loves him. Tries to make sure there will be no unnecessary conflicts. You can be malevolent and intelligent at the same time, or you can be selfish, self-serving, and intelligent at the same time. And in fact, there is one character who isn't an intelligent asshole, but is an intelligent, selfish man. An intelligent, morally gray man. And is Senku from Dr. Stone. He's entirely amoral from his own perspective, and from his own actions he makes it clear every single time he mentions the choices he makes. They are all practical. And what kind of choices he makes? Don't fuck other people over. His entire his entire goal of, how do I say it? His entire goal of saving all of humanity is because he wants to go back to the life he had. His entire goal of saving all of humanity is because he wants to recover all the technology they had and to make a better world, because a better world for everyone is a better world for himself. He is self-serving. He says so repeatedly. He wants to save humanity because he's selfish. Because if he saves humanity, it benefits him. He's intelligent enough to understand that. Another character, in fact, from the same story as Agiri Gen, is also self-serving and manipulative. And he's extremely intelligent. He's one of the most intelligent characters after Senku and Chrome. After the geniuses in the story, he's extremely intelligent. In fact, Senku is a lot smarter than Dr. Sino, who doesn't care about that. He plans world domination, even if that means killing people. And Senku has this determination of saving everyone, because if you kill even one person, it will be bad for you. He thinks of the long-term ramifications. He's selfish. He says so himself. He's selfish. He's immoral. He doesn't care about good or evil. He cares about bringing back the world he liked, about bringing back the life he enjoyed, about fixing the things he thinks are broken, achieve comfort and progress for humanity because it benefits everyone, including him. That's a real amoral genius. A real amoral genius thinks of all the possible ramifications of fucking people over and decides to do it as little as possible and to avoid as much as possible harming others. Of course, there are times when you will need to kill people, or when you will need to trample over others. But most of the time is when they are already screwing you. Not when they just happen to be in the way. That's a problem with the characters like Rick Sanchez. They don't care about this random character who is just in the way. They will kill the guy anyway. They don't care. And then someone will come for revenge. These tropes damage a story, ruin a story. Your story can be good, but these tropes suck. You might have a good story, but these tropes ruin it. These tropes suck. If you use them, you will harm your work. Don't use them that often. I won't say don't use them absolutely. Avoid them. Handle them with care. Try to make better versions of them. Use harem instead of love triangles. Make the cheater a villain instead of expecting the cheater to be forgiven. Make an amoral genius and not an evil, not a genius asshole. Make a tragedy where many die, but they sacrifice themselves instead of everyone died. Make the joke of it wasn't a dream. You thought it was a dream, but it wasn't. You thought you were dreaming, but it wasn't. Instead of it was all a dream, and I will never forget those moments with those people. They never exist. Fuck that. Seriously, stop with that. But I know people will still make these tropes, and they will still suck, and they will still damage good stories. I don't like Rick and Morty anymore. I liked it up until the second season. The third one sucked and I stopped watching. I don't like Saikano. I don't like Twilight. But, well, let's be honest. There are good stories with these crappy tropes, and they get damaged by them. They don't get completely ruined. That's something important I must point out. There are good stories with these tropes. There are good stories which have these crappy tropes, but they are often pointed at as the worst moment of those stories. So, why do you use them? I won't use them. Well, that's it for today. Have a nice day.
Still on Flame, Book 1 of the Guilds of Avlaan series is available on Amazon. If you like fluffy world-building protagonists and Japanese light novels, follow the link below to check it out.